It's day 25 and is it live or live, but if you say it out loud and commit to achieving what you set out, you will change your life. Wow, we're getting to the end of the challenge, and to be honest, I didn't think it will go this quick. I am so happy that I get to connect with many of our candidates and those in the challenge daily and hear about the success. But what I'm most happy about is the action that everyone is taking to finally complete their APC submission. As we're getting into the final days, we still do have a lot to ensure that you can complete and get your submission finally out. But remember, you have many more days beyond the 30-day challenge to catch up, review, watch again, action any of the items that you've missed. So I have renamed the videos on YouTube to ensure that you can easily find what you're looking for. Today, as we've been reviewing the competencies for the past few days, we're getting back to the case study. So if you haven't finished the competencies yet, continue with that. Or if you're on track, then start this. One of the top questions I get around is, Joshua, what is the word count and the different word count for the sections of the case study? So I wanted to give more context to the word count and how many words you may want to write for each of the sections of the case study and give some suggestions along the way. You already know we are recommending 500 words for the total of the introduction as mentioned in the template and also the APC candidate guide. But how many should you write for the approach, achievements, and conclusion? To be honest, there isn't a guide, but I do have some suggestions and recommendations to help ensure you get the maximum of that 3,000 words or under which you're aiming for. For the case study and in the editing stages as we review, revise all the sections, it's important that the information that is valuable to your case study isn't edited out to keep the integrity of the case study so it's written professionally. Within the candidate guide, it does mention that you can include notes on what you have included in the word count. So when you are calculating the word count, do note that and make mention of it that, for example, if you have written 2,599 words, that you are excluding the table of contents, the appendix, and references. And depending on your word count calculator, what you're using, remember full stops and dashes aren't words, so they're not included. But you don't have to mention this in that. Now, under and using the examples from the website, I have gone through it, I've calculated all the different sections of the words, and I got the following results. From the introduction, we did have some variation, and just to let you know, I did round it up just to make the math very simple. So, for example, we had 400, 420, 230, 250, and 580. Now I know what you're thinking. Didn't I just say 500 is the limit? It is the recommended approximate that you should be writing for the introductions. For the My Approach, some variation here as well, 1500, 1400, 1800, 1600, and 1400 again. The My Achievements was 400, 240, 660, 430, and 380. And if you did pay attention and make note that the My Approach and My Achievements, for example, when you are writing more in the My Approach, you are probably writing a little bit more in the Achievements. And finally, conclusion, 500, 800, 340, 550, and 690. Now, you can see the totals on the screen, and in the past, we did have an acceptable range where you could go slightly over, but now we have a hard limit of 3,000 words maximum, okay? Now, before I say what I will say, remember, you are the best judge with your counselor on how many words you want to write for each section, to ensure you produce a great case study that's professionally written. And in your final draft, if you are over and need to sacrifice and remove something to be under, think about this very, very carefully. Now, using the figures and the examples and the rounding and the averages that I just did then, there is a suitable range where you could write 400 to 500 for the introduction. For the My Approach, based on the examples, taking the average, 1400 to 1600 words would be great. For My Achievements, maybe 400 to 450, and the conclusion, maybe 500 to 600. But as an observation, we can see from the examples when 1800 words is written for the My Approach, they did have to sacrifice and write a smaller introduction and conclusion, and they may have done this strategically, as in the final assessment preparation and presentation, they would have expanded on and provided more detail to this. But I'm only speculating here. So again, speak to your counselor and judge for yourself if this is right for you. But from averaging and rounding and reviewing, if you wrote exactly 500 words for the introduction, 1500 for the My Approach, 400 for the My Achievements, and 600 for the conclusion, guess what? 3,000 words on the dot. But Josh, I'm struggling to get under. Well, other areas that you could add or minimize words would be the headers and subheadings and avoiding repetition. So for example, analysts of comparable evidence, then they have started the sentence off by saying, I analyzed the evidence. It is repetitive, and those extra words could mean the difference between going above or below 3,000. Another one would be references, and I've gone over this before. I inspected and measured the property with my supervisor on the 3rd of June 2014. 4. With references to this in the accordance of the RICS Surveying Safety Guidance Note, 1st edition, 2011. It does mention that in the candidate guide, references, extracts, and acts of parliament, case law, and other sources should not be quoted at length, but essentially references must be given. And another way you can reduce is the appendixes. Remember, you need to use your appendixes to support your case study and enhance the information that has been given for the assessment. If it is not relevant, do not use it. But speak with your counsellor on any of these to see if it is appropriate for you. So, for today and here on out, you would want to work closely with your counsellor to ensure that you do not remove any great part of your case study which should be included, and you want to now refine the case study down to 3,000 words. But if you have within your first draft, say, done 4,000 as the rough cut, don't just cut everything out to get it down to 3,000 words in one draft. I do suggest that you either just cross out some sections, change the color, copy and paste it into another section of the case study so you can keep it. As if it's deleted and out of sight, you might be deleting keywords or statements that might be used later on in completing your final draft that you have forgotten about because you've actually deleted it off the page. But that is your action items for today. Continue to refine and review and edit, read it out. Does it make sense? Grammar, spelling, accurate representation of you, review it with the counsellor again, have others to read it, make those edits, make those changes, refine it again, edit and produce something that is under 3,000 words. And I'll see everyone tomorrow. Bye for now.